Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of the Indicator Store, and today sponsored by me because I am going to present a custom indicator to follow a very simple trade setup. You can do it using standard indicators, just a moving average and a Donchian. And the idea is to present a new custom indicator that you can use for this. But the idea is this. Let's say you want to trade an exponential moving average, bounces over an exponential moving average. So here we have an EMA 50 and we want to trade it. Where and how? Because you know, if the market, we can place a limit order here, and if the market is over, it will be a limit long. If it is below, it will be a limit short, of course. Now we get a fill here, probably, and depending on the size of the target, we may get a fill on the target. Then we have, maybe we place again another limit order, and then we have a fill. So depending on the size of the stop, if it is bigger than this size, then we get a fill on the target, if it is more or less of this size. And so on, because then we can again place a limit order here. But this time, maybe we don't get a fill on a target, and it will be probably a loss because the target needs to be too big for this to work. And we can continue this way. Now, when I want to enter short, because here, for example, the market is below the line, this is probably a stop. So maybe I place again a limit order, a short limit order here. Then we get a fill, and again, if the stop is bigger than this size, then we get a fill on a target. Now, the idea is simple, just going long on short over a moving average. The problem is when and how. There are several ways to define how to do this. On this setup, the edge, we use a standard. This is a standard indicator, a Donchian. It is present on all the platforms. If we add a Donchian to the chart, here we can see the other indicator. It is off, but let me show you how it works. It has several parameters: the period of the moving average and also the period of the Donchian, the number of bars of the Donchian. If I add a Donchian of that size, Donchian, if you want to do this manually, then you can add a Donchian with different sizes for the period. We don't need the median line, so we can make it transparent that way. And then we get this. The idea is when I'm interested in going long or short, when the Donchian is completely over the line, so we have a space between the lower Donchian and the exponential moving average, then we are interested in going long. The how, if using a limit order or searching for a bar pattern, that's another topic. The idea is the channel is over the line, then we want to enter long in this area. Same here, because and then we want to go long here. And again, we have a space here, so we want to enter long, and we can see here we have a little space. So now we are interested in going short in that line, because the upper Donchian is below the exponential moving average. So until now it is exactly what we explained before. And if we want to avoid, for example, this short, we can make the Donchian slightly bigger enough so that the upper line is never below the EMA. Let's say it is only 2 bars bigger, 6. Now you can see the line is always here. It is here we have a long, another long, again another long here, so we have a long, but it is never, the upper Donchian is never below the line. So we never had a short, and currently now we are not waiting for a short because the line is still inside the Donchian. If we make it even bigger, we may also probably avoid that long. Let's say we make it 8. And now we are not taking this long. So we have only these 2 longs. So this last loser is avoided. So adjusting the size of the Donchian, we can fine tune the entries. This is what the custom indicator, the TIS Edge, does. So let me apply. But as we can see, it has several filters, because one thing is detecting the pattern or the where I want to enter, long or short. But then we can define a bar pattern to decide when and where to enter. Let me add this indicator, and we can see. Now we can see that the channel is painted in green because we are in long mode. Same happens with the entry line. It is green because we are looking for a long. Now we can see that the signals are not on the original place that we described. Not here for the short and not here for the long. Why? Okay, let's review the different filters and bar patterns. The patterns is the different patterns are, if we want to go long, then we have 2 possible bar patterns. Now the bar is touching the line, but previously it was not touching. This is the pattern number 1. Here we have let me show you the parameters. The setup mode is classic or advanced, or both. Let's use the standard and no filters. So those are the initial classic entries. When the market is touching the line, we get a fill. And now we have a short here. Why? Because we wanted to enter long because the channel is over the line. Now the bar is touching, and on the previous bar it is not touching. And we can see this in detail. This bar is touching, the previous bar is not touching. Same here. But there are some signals that are okay, other that I don't like too much. This long is even better than using a limit order, because this is another problem. Where are the fills? We are not using limit orders, and the signals are at bar close, so the fills are at the close of the bar. Not too much difference on this bar because the bar is small, but on this bar the close is here at the bottom. So it is better than the limit entry. We have more profit potential, and we need a lower stop than using a limit order. No? On this one, the fill, the limit is entering here, but at bar close, using a bar pattern, the fill is here. So we only need a stop bigger than this small size, and we have more target potential. Then this short, where is the fill? At the close of the bar, and the close is at the top of the green bar. So we have more profit potential, and the stop needed is smaller. Now let's take a look at the filters. One of the many options is looking at the color of the bar. Here we have red bars for longs, and at the last one is all of them are inverted, no? Because this is a green bar for the short. So if we add the filter that I want the color of the bar in agreement, we have option number 1, color in agreement. So on this case we don't have any signal painted, nothing. Then let me check if we have any signal in the past. No signal here because it is red, also red. This one is also red. So there are just a few signals. This one, for example, and almost no signal. It is too restricted that the first bar touching the line is on the corresponding color. So this is the filter looking at the color of the bar. Color in agreement. The filter number 2 is the close in agreement. So the bar needs to close on the side corresponding to the trade. So for a long, closing over the line, for a short, closing below the line. This one, for example, is okay because the close is over the entry line. Even if the bar is red, it is closing over the exponential moving average. This one, no, it is closing below, and the same for this one. So if we use the filter number 2, now only the first signal is okay. The three others, no. There was a short here, but the bar is green, so it is not in agreement with the short. But we have more options because we have the setup number 2. Let's remove all the filters and use the setup advanced. The advanced is like entering later, when the market is already going away from the line. On the setup, on the classic, is when the market is touching the line. So the condition is on the previous bar it was touching the entry line, but now it is no longer touching. And here we can see the bar is not touching, but previously it was even lower than the entry line. Same here. Where is the fill? Here. It is a lot over the place. The fill is at the close here, at the close of the green bar. And finally, we have a short, this one, looking at this bar. Why this one? Because this is the first bar below the entry line, not touching, and the previous is touching the line. And where is the fill? Here, at the close of the bar. Then we have the option of adding the same filters to this logic, the color. These two longs are green and this short is red, so there is no effect on these three trades. And the close is always on the side because the bar is already not touching, so it is always closing in the direction of the trade. So no difference applying all filters on the setup number 2. With 1 we use the color, with 2 we look at the close, and with 3 we apply both filters. So the three lines, the three signals are painted. Here we have another long signal. This is not painted because the bar is red. This is the first bar not touching, but it is red, so no signal. Let's remove the filter so we can see it. With 0, now we have the three signals. the bar is not touching, but previously it was touching, and also we were looking for a long. On this setup, again, the filter number 2, the close, is always in agreement. On previous cases, we have the 3 longs. This one, the bar is red, so that can be avoided. On this bar, the bar is green. This is the first bar not touching. The problem is, where is the fill? The fill is at the top, at the close of the green bar. And same here. So if we add both filters now, this signal is not painted because the bar is red, but the rest are okay. So this is the setup number 2. One is the classic, when now it is touching, but previously it was not. And the second advance is when the market is going away. But we can place both setups. Show only the first signal. So let's remove all the filters. So we have one short, even when the bar is green, and 3 longs. Another long, several longs, and finally one short. It can be not the first, not only the setup number 1. It can be any setup number 1 or 2. So if we apply filters, it will show the first setup with signal. So let's add the condition that the bar is of the same color. So color in agreement. This short is not okay. This is not a long. And no short, no long. And this is not the first touch. It is the setup number 2, when the bar is going away. No long on the first touch, but we have a long on the setup number 2. Here we have the setup number 2. The bar is green, not touching, and not the first and not the second and not the third. So on the first setup the bar is red, and the second setup also it is red. And here it is the second setup, okay? And so on. We can add more complexity, like for example the remaining filter, the repeat filter. Currently the repeat filter is set on 2, 1 trade per cycle. Cycle is when the background is green, we are looking for a long, and then we take only one long, no multiple. Like for example here we are looking for a long, and then as long as we get a signal, we paint one, but only one, until we have another looking for long. Here it is looking for long because slightly the exponential moving average is below the Donchian. And just because of that, we start looking for a long pattern. And we find it here. This is the pattern number 2. And no more signals until we find another one, until we are looking for another more. Now, what happens if I set it to repeat all of the signals with 0? 0 is no filter. Not too much difference. No. Maybe I have a filter. Let me check. Let's remove all the filters. The setup number 3 is one and also the two setups. Okay, setup number 1 plus setup number 2. No filter for bar color or close, and also no filter for repeated signals. And now we have setup number 1. First time it touches the line. Setup number 2, the first line it goes away. Setup number 1, first time it touches. Setup number 2, when it goes away. Same here, setup number 1. There is no setup number 2, but because we are looking for a short, and we have setup number 1 for short and setup number 2 for shorts. Here we have a lot of signals because we are taking all of the signals. Starting from here, we are looking for longs. First touch, this is the first touch, then the first go away, another touch, another goes away, another time looking for longs, first touch, first go away, and so on. This will be taking all the signals and filtered. The more logic configuration, in my opinion, is 1 per cycle. When we are looking for a long, draw the first one and no more signals. But sometimes it is also good to have it even more restricted. Maybe only 1 long and only 1 short. For this short it will be better to have it higher, but let's see the second filter, where we have 1 long and then 1 short. This is the filter number 1, 1 trade per side. So we have only 1 long and then we wait for a short. 1 long, 1 short, and 1 long. All the repeated signals are ignored because we had already a long. If I want to trade here, we need a faster moving average, maybe 40, 34. 34 may work. Yes, 34. So we have long, short, long. If I don't want to have a long here, for example, we can increase the size of the Donchian. Instead of 4, maybe 10. Yes, we have 1 short. Why I don't have a long here? Because the pattern is present. Maybe I have another long previously here. So after the first long, we need a short. Even if I have a pattern here, it is not painted because there was already a long. As you can see, the combinations are mostly unlimited. This system is really flexible, so we can configure a lot of different combinations, and all these parameters can be used on a builder strategy to optimize the parameters. More about that later on a new video. This indicator is on my page, and on the description you can find more info about it. And also I am going to write a blog about this setup. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.